Welcome to the Football Tragics podcast YouTube channel. I'm your host Aaron. I'm joined by Givo.
How's it going, everyone?
Camp over there.
Hey,
and Morty.
welcome, lads.
Well, on our YouTube channel, we're just going to be doing a little topic of the week with the APL. And this topic, it's a big one.
Good week to do it.
Yeah.
Big week for Spurs.
Big change for Spurs.
Big change.
Well, Pochettino finally getting the sack, maybe long overdue, who knows. And then Mourinho getting appointed no longer than 5-6 hours later.
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah, run us through it. What's your opinions being a Spurs fan?
I don't know. I was very upset yesterday when I've heard that Poch got sacked because everything he's done for us. He's turned us into a very threatening team. Teams actually started to fear us instead of going, oh, use the Spurs, we'll just come there, roll yous. And it was actually good to see teams sweat. And then after he got sacked, I was like reminiscing. I'm like, oh, well, we're fucked. And then it's just the appointment of Jose. He's a short-term fix, not a long-term. He's more like a go in there, win a trophy,
get some bigger players in, possibly.
But he's never at a club more than 2-3 years. So I'll maybe like to have hoped to see in someone that would have been like a long-term.
But where are you going to find a long-term replacement now?
Bring Eddie Howe in. I would have been happy with a young English
I don't
coach.
think that deal, had they brought in Eddie Howe, that deal wouldn't get done until, I think you'd just have a caretaker manager for quite a while. Whereas, Jose coming in, it's a quick fix and it will change the whole dynamic of the club temporarily. But as you said, I don't see him lasting any more than 3 years as his most recent clubs.
Our big problem this year has been defence. We just keep leaking shit goals in. So I feel like Jose's
manager to bring in.
He's a very good manager at stopping. He's just a very defence-minded.
Parking the bus is what the easy way of saying.
He expects professionalism, and that's Spurs sort of don't really have that at the moment.
Not at the moment.
He's going to bring that big club mentality. We're going to win things. We're going to go for things. So
it'll be exciting to see this weekend against West Ham. So especially because their manager Pellegrini's looking like he's getting the sack as well.
He's been shocking.
So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing who he picks in this lineup for the weekend.
Well, most of the time when a new manager comes in, you can almost expect to win that first weekend. So
because everyone's kind of like, we've got to play well for the manager to get picked again.
I think if you win this weekend, I think the whole dynamic's going to change. I think all these fans that were so straight away Mourinho out, not wanting him, are going to be all over him purely because of one.
You know what it's like? They've had the family car for a long time. You know, Dad sold it. They're not happy about it, but then Dad rolls up with a Lamborghini. And Jose Mourinho.
Doesn't know how they got it because they don't have money.
Exactly. He just rocks up. I sort of like the Lamborghini, Dad. I might be behind this, and I think if he gets a win this week, then they'll be happy with the Lamborghini.
But there's perfect analogy there with Lamborghini.
Yeah.
There's only one person that can fit in there with him.
Yeah.
So who's Mourinho leaving out to dry?
Lamborghini these days?
He's a Lamborghini at getting a real quick trophy and then do nothing else.
I think Spurs will be happy with that. He'll be happy with that. He wouldn't mind a
FA Cup,
cheeky
capital.
I would. Mate, you're already out of it.
Yeah, but just saying, I'm happy with anything.
Another Audi Cup.
I honestly think he will change a lot of things there, and I could see him winning a trophy this first season. Probably when you drop down from Champions League into Europa League.
Well, no, we're going through.
But that might honestly be his tactic to throw every game from now on and win Europa.
It's something he would do.
It would do it.
He's won the Champions League with Porto. He's going to do it with Spurs.
Yeah, but Porto was a greater achievement.
We'll see.
Right, well, we're going to pop into some questions we've received. The first one reads, which player's career will Jose destroy first at Spurs?
Well, the destroy...
You'd expect Son. Son's already...
I wouldn't say Son. I'd be like... It's the players that are on the fringe, already, not playing. They're shit, like Eric Dyer. He'll be cut off.
But he doesn't have a Spurs career in the first place.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying his career in general will just be destroyed by Jose.
I honestly think Dyer will fucking flourish under him.
Yeah.
No
That's
way.
his Fellaini. That is his Fellaini right there.
That is his 2 CDMs with a 3 at the back. That's the perfect Mourinho right there.
Not when you got Tongi and Sissoko.
Well, one of them's going to play a bit more forward because Son's getting frozen out.
Pushed out to the right mid, and he'll be starting right mid.
Yeah. You'll get Lo Celso out there. I feel like we'll get... Dyer will be cut out completely. I think it's just the players that are on the edge that have just absolute garbage, like Ben Davies or Danny Rose. One of them, I think, will get pushed out. I think Aurier will get pushed out. because he's just...
Do you think a bit of a clean out for the fringe players?
Yeah, I think the players that just keep making the same mistakes week in, week out will be...
But wouldn't they be the ones that are going to step up? Because Jose Mourinho's here, we're going to play big for a big manager. Isn't that like the kind of impact he would have?
You'd think that if they want consistent starting, they would have done it for Poch, you know. But
Yeah, but Poch was known to throw some spanners in the works every now and again. Nothing was ever set in stone with him.
so is Jose. So it's more...
Nah, Jose, he's got a bit of a...
He's got a good demeanour around. So you're going to play for Jose at least for 2 years, and then third year you're going to kick the bucket.
Fellaini is the prime example of Jose.
He will eventually lose the dressing room,
yeah.
as
Guaranteed.
he often does.
Yep.
It's just a matter of what he can achieve in that short time beforehand.
I think maybe Son.
Which
I reckon
brings us
so.
into this next question. Who will benefit the most?
I think Toby and Jan Vertonghen will benefit the most. They will have a more compact defence, not such spread out, because Poch likes to play this. Wingers, fullbacks get up far, and then when they hit us on the counter, it's just Toby and Jan are so spread out, and it's just leaky goals all the time. So with Jose's compact defending, I think they'll thrive in it. So that's who I think. I think Kane will suffer up top with the lack of chances that he'll get probably now. I think
it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he changes how Son plays. Like these players that play with pace and kind of just do their own thing. Jose is very structured, and he will like things done his way.
Yeah.
And whether or not they can buy into that.
Well, Kane should be okay because he can relatively put most chances on target and score from...
He might be Jose's dream striker, to be honest. That's the kind of striker he
Almost
wants.
like what
You can play
Lukaku should have
anyway.
been.
You can be a target man, you can be
Hold
not
up
pacey,
play.
but you can
Yeah.
sort of
still
go in
get in
behind.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Harry Kane's just going to keep doing. I don't think he will have any set rules. He'll just be told to score goals.
he'll float and drop in, let Son run behind, I think.
And it's you shouldn't compare it to his United stint because they were not really a built team. He had to rebuild that a little bit. Where Spurs, they have pieces everywhere over the park, and they've come off
but
Champions
do
League
they have
final.
enough to fill a Jose tactic?
Spurs arguably have one of the best squads in the league. There's no question.
Depth-wise?
Everywhere
there's a lot
on that park, they have a great player. Like,
And if someone
best player.
and if someone doesn't do the job, he'll get someone else in. So it's going to be tough to,
I'm just wondering, like with Mourinho signing this contract, they must have promised him in January, we'll let you go out and you'll buy certain players. I don't know where this money's coming from. Shirt sales, maybe.
You're helping out the cause
Thank
with that
you.
one.
Did you buy that from Spurs.com?
Yeah, I
Nah.
did.
The
Good lad.
DVD sales of the Poch's greatest moments.
But I don't know where
All
he's
5
going
minutes
to...
of...
I don't know where he's going to try and
Ow.
fix, because I think our midfield is one of the best in the league. I think we have one of the best striker in the league.
Does he fix how Ericsson plays and how he's received at the club now?
Depends if he gives him game time. If he comes in and says, you want out, I'll let you go in January. I don't think he
Take
has
the
any
money and
I don't think he'll have any alliance to him. He doesn't know him. He'll just go, out you go.
I think
We'll
he'll
bring
change.
someone
I
in.
reckon he'll play for Mourinho though.
That's what
Ericsson.
I'm also
Yeah.
torn on. Is he going to go new manager? I might get a better
You've
contract
seen that
here.
at Southampton with Buffal. He didn't like playing under Mark Hughes, and then new manager comes in and he's in the starting team. So it's happened.
when you're on the fringe, not saying obviously Ericsson's a different situation, but when you're on a fringe as a player and a manager gets sacked and a new one comes in, that's your best chance possible to
Move up the squad.
move
order.
up in the rotation because you're a fresh face to him.
Yeah.
Unless he's coached someone in your position previous,
Yeah,
it's
well-
just free game. Anybody can take that position.
The only thing would be that Mourinho has played against this Spurs team for the past.
He knows their ins and outs. There's no new bodies, so
You
It's
got
been the same
Ndombele
for
and
5 years.
Lo Celso. There's probably only two
Well,
differences.
that's going to bring me into another question then. What players would you like to see him bring in?
I don't want to see another striker brought in because we have a really good under
I
17s.
don't see why you would bring.
Could Bale come in though, just as a big name?
No, I think you'll have to bring in a right back and another centre back.
You've
That's-
got two. You've got.
three.
You've got.
centre
That'll be your third right back, and then that'll be your fourth big name centre back.
I'm expecting Aurier to go.
But these players that you're talking like the Danny Roses, the Serge Auriers, they could change completely. They could be phenomenal for him,
And they are the type of players that
and
thrive.
they will be the ones that.
And they have until January to prove me wrong, like sort of thing. Prove him wrong, prove all the supporters wrong, because it's just the same shit every fucking week with Aurier. He'll go in, do something really good one week, the next week get sent off within 10 minutes.
You asked where this money comes from. I'm pretty sure that they've agreed that Ericsson will be leaving in January.
No, but That's depending on how
price.
Jose sees him. Jose might come in straight away and say, I don't want Ericsson gone. I want him. He's my main player.
But Jose could also see that as his opportunity for money to come into the club for him to spend.
But
on someone
he wouldn't have signed a contract without him promised he can bring in new blood straight away.
Mourinho has been a manager who spends money.
Yeah,
Daniel Levy is an owner who doesn't spend money. So there has to be somewhere amongst that conversation that we obviously weren't invited to.
a bit cut there. A bit cut.
It's probably still in the mail.
So there's somewhere in that conversation where money's being tossed around. Unless Mourinho's contract was just too good and said, I'll take 20 million for a year of just sending them down to the championship.
Yeah,
brilliant to see.
I assume that Daniel Levy's just going to put off putting money towards the stadium now.
If he does give Jose the money, why did he not give Poch that money?
That's the question.
Transfer windows ago. Someone who loves the club, because Poch loves the club, and he was so for the fans, and he just gave it everything. Whereas Mourinho, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish he backed Poch at the start when gave him that 60 mil every year instead of giving him he had 5 mil net spend for the whole time he's been at the club. So what he's done has been bloody amazing what he's achieved at Tottenham. But if Jose can win a trophy within the first year, 2 years, I'll say it's
I can
positive.
see him winning a trophy, either FA Cup or Europa League, because I don't think you're going to do well in Champions League.
Well, he got that United team that was absolute garbage to second.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they also won
This
the
is a
Europa
quality
League.
team here we got here.
But there's
First place next year.
All right. See,
Well, then I'm going to ask you, where are Spurs finishing this season as a Spurs fan?
yeah, unbiased opinion.
I still think top 4 is up for grabs. I think Leicester, it depends. If Leicester suffer a few injuries, they'll drop out. I think it's been really good for us that everyone else has been shit. Like, in our worst season, Arsenal's been shit, Man United's been shit.
They're the only two teams that have been crap. But then you've got Leicester who've come in and done well.
Yes, but
So you've not really lost or made up any ground there.
we could finish 5th. I think we could still get 5th or 4th. It just depends if what Jose can...
Well, honestly, looking at the table, so obviously City's in 4th right now, and they've got my maths is not great.
You got 11 points to make up to hit equal fourth with Man City.
Which obviously early in the season's plenty of time.
There's still 2 quarters of the season
And you
left,
still have to play a lot of those big teams. But if you're a top 4 team, you're not dropping a great amount of points throughout the season.
And
No, but I wouldn't say... You've seen crazy things happen, so I'm hopeful for a top 4, but I'll take...
To me, the gap for the top 4 at only 12 games in is big enough to where they could just hold on.
Yeah.
Which pleases me as a Chelsea fan.
Do Spurs need that top 4, top 5 Champions League money to keep their... Because they've got a big stadium now,
Yeah,
and that's a lot of money to keep that running.
And Mourinho's on a fairly hefty chunk.
Yeah.
I think Mourinho has to get top 4
Yeah.
to be deemed a success in his first season.
Is that what
Even if
Levy-
he gets an FA Cup, they still wouldn't take... I don't think they'll take that.
I think... If
Because
he
you are a
gets-
top 4 club now.
European football, with the start we've had, is still good, I think. Because if we get Europa League next year, Jose will turn his attention to that. We'll win it.
But if anything, you're going backwards if you don't get top 4.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like... After the start we've had, we're how many points off again?
11.
11. That's still 4 games to win when someone else loses. It can happen, but it's...
Yeah, but you just don't see any of those top 4 losing 4 games for you to even catch up.
Exactly. So it's like... I don't think there's any pressure on Mourinho at the moment. I think the real pressure will start next year when it's new season. You have your budget.
A team in the top 4 usually finishes with about 6 to 9 losses throughout the season. The teams in the top 4 now have only lost 2 to 3 games. So...
Or a big fat 0.
We're not talking about Liverpool.
Fuck off.
That's plenty clear. I don't think we're ever going to say Spurs are going to win the league.
Next year.
So...
Oh, God.
If they do drop another 3 or 4 games, Spurs have to go 4 games better. Which I don't think they do.
We'll just see. It's all a waiting game now. We can all maybe, but it's up to Mourinho's now to do his job.
So, final question for the Spurs fan: where are you sitting right now?
Well, I was yesterday. I was cut because I was such a big fan of Poch, but then because of
Lamborghini rocked up, and he liked it.
No, it wasn't until
seen one of them before.
It was,
He's used to seeing that little Fiat 500.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started. I watched
Toyota
Jose's first interview, and I was like, shit, I'm already warming up to him. So I was like, now I'm a bit edgy.
He just seems like he's got his mojo back.
He seems. Well,
he's just happy to be back in football.
Exactly. He looks happier than what he was at United. Like, he's got a good core of players around him, and he knows that now.
Well, this is what the longest he's been out of
the
management.
Game.
So
maybe he's got some new tactics up his sleeve. Who knows?
He might have finally changed his tactics.
We've had a lot of time to watch and sort of learn the modern game, because that was our problem with him before. He wasn't doing modern football.
He wasn't adapting. He was going to a different team.
He was come onto the scene and just completely change it and play his way, and it worked so well with these teams, and then everybody caught up.
And he hasn't stepped up.
He didn't.
So maybe this step away, he's learnt, watched, and could be a big chance. Big chance for Spurs.
So we'll see. I'm getting excited, but like, change is always good. Like, I got excited for the first time in 5 years when we signed a new player. So
even Southampton's over here signing players before you are.
So like, it's just good to see some change and some ambition, saying that this wasn't good enough. Let's go for the big dog, and fucking do your magic.
And if he doesn't,
he can go fuck himself.
Nice.
Thank you.
But will Levy fire another manager for a whole lot more coin?
Not when
now,
Mourinho's,
not this year.
Yeah. Not when he's probably on. Mourinho's probably on more than what Poch was on.
Yeah, I'm saying he's signed a 3-year contract.
Yeah, so he will have this year, next year, and then that's his final year.
So what we're saying is Mourinho is the coach of Tottenham for the next 3 years, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, I reckon he stays.
I don't. I think it just depends. Let's just hope for trophies.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We're back next week.
Give us feedback.
See you later.
Peace. And action.
Yeah, we'll keep that in. Don't worry.